Going live. Hey, Tom here, FlipAnythingUSA. And so it's tonight. It's skip the bar, come to the webinar night. Really great stuff here to share with you. I'm really excited about. I've been meaning to interview a couple of my mentees, my students. I just haven't had time. We're all actually quite active, and which brings me to another thing I was going to say. Many of you say that you're too busy to invest, but I'm telling you, you can't afford to not invest. It's so important that you invest. And let me just say, everybody in my mentorship, everybody is busy. No, there's nobody that isn't busy. Anyways, got some great stuff to share with you. I'm going to show you, let me see if I can show you. You're going to see this gentleman here and another gentleman. And between the two of them, they've damn near made $3 million in a relatively short time. And it's just very cool. It's just I tell you, it's been the most wonderful thing. I had no idea that mentoring was going to be nearly as good as it has been. I thought that I was going to have to do a lot of hand holding. And that's why I was very careful about starting. A lot of people asked me to mentor. That's why I did it. And but once in, man, as long as you vet the students and you got people that are smart, people that are business minded, people that are goal oriented, it's been nothing but a pleasure. And I'll tell you, these two gentlemen I interviewed today are just what it makes it all worthwhile. You really got to see this. So I'll be back in 1 second. And we'll get to it.
And listen, time is on a mission to eliminate all the snake oil and the fake gurus that fake y'all. He'll show you how to build an empire, starting with nothing but a desire. All you really need is a good mentor, not a used car bullshit. With time, you'll learn to crush it. Investing like Warren Buffett. With real estate, you cannot procrastinate. Everyone who hesitates is left at the starting gate. Hey, yo, so don't delay and join today. The mentorship and flip anything. USA, go.
All right. So yeah, really awesome day today. I wish I had interviewed these guys a month ago, or even a little bit. Maybe even 6 weeks ago. They both have made these deals. People don't understand. That's how busy I am as an investor. I'm all over the place every day. I'm bird dogging, looking at new property, writing contracts. I made an offer for over $10 million just recently. I'm still crossing my fingers on that one. And we'll see what happens. Hey, Jake, please come into the webinar. Just fill out go to FlipAnything. Well, it's right there. Go to FlipAnythingUSA.com/webinar. And no, it doesn't cost anything to go into the webinar. So, please do. And let me just show you, because this really just makes it all worthwhile. I'll add maybe a few more people come in here if they want to get in here live. Or if you got any questions, go ahead and ask away on your questions. If you got an interest in industrial property, which a lot of people I think you should be interested in industrial property, and also, retail. A lot of people, and this is what's really cool. In this sentence I want to talk about. So look at this property here. This is, where'd I go? What's really interesting is when you see the growth, when a city grows, is that you'll have properties that had at one time been kind of like out in the suburbs. This is one of them. This used to be like just a nice little, whatever, maybe a 2-lane road at one time, maybe 40, 50 years ago. Now it's a major freeway. And out in this area, which there's a lot of things to consider there. So I'm just going to show you real quick here. So like I own this building right here. This is a skating rink, but before it was a skating rink, before there was enough of a population out there in the boondocks when there was nothing out here, this was a skating rink. It was called Skate World. And then after that, it became kind of things started to grow in, and it was kind of a makeshift grocery store at one time. And there was a couple of yo-yos bought it that I don't know what they were doing, but anyways, I had a feeling when I went to visit them, I'd be buying it from the bank, and basically, ultimately, that's what I ended up doing. I watched a lot of people go broke over the years, making bad investments, and I have not been one of those people, thank God. But in this same area, like this is an old school. This is the old little element. I own that school. I bought the school from the school district. And then out here, this is probably one of the biggest things that happened out there. This is a retail center. There's two phases of here. I bought the first phase of this retail center. In fact, give you an idea, I bought that for $2.1 million, and the sister property that's of the same exact size, within 500 feet, it sold for $4.2 million. So that was a nice $2 million equity move on that one, and it cash flows and it does well, and really this is what is so nice. And today I'm going to share with you a couple of guys, new people in the course. Well, not totally new. One was in the second class that I took, which, by the way, if you want to get in, we're wrapping it up. So you're not going to be able to get in for a while if you don't get in. If you don't sign up from tonight. So a lot of you I know have been sitting on the fence, and I get it, and there's no pressure whatsoever. I don't want anybody ever coming in or feeling pressure. There's no pressure from me. The only thing I feel is I feel bad for you that you can't get in just yet, because that's everybody's regret, is that they didn't get in earlier. So if you just got here first time, my name's Tom McKay. I bought over 200 properties since I was 19 years old, which is now 42 years. I barely really feel like I've hardly worked a day in my life because I've enjoyed myself so much. And if you really get into it, I'm telling you, there's nothing like real estate. So any questions? If you got a question, please fire it away right now. I'm buying a little bit of time here while we get maybe a few more people in the live. But this is 100% real. And I've got, like I'm telling you, you'll be lucky to get in the class if you can get in it. Urge you to come in tonight. Also, hit that subscribe button, hit that like button. You want to learn about real estate. I've given a ton of lessons here on the internet. I'll never lie to you, never bullshit you. I try my best never to exaggerate. I think it's the worst thing in the world for somebody to exaggerate or mislead when they're selling people how to make money. I personally, my family's felt it. My father got ripped off for $20,000 in the 80s by a shyster misrepresenting, and I'm still looking for those people. Encino Elite Car Wash, if you know any connection, it would have been a LLC or something they would have formed about 40 years ago. Would love to find these guys. Over here, we could talk about anything. Anybody planning on buying a house right now? I just left one of my houses that I bought probably 3 weeks ago, and I expect to have it on the market. It's me and my son. It's his first property. Of course, he's got me as a partner, which doesn't hurt. But, we're going to make over $100,000 on that property. But I want to show you this. I'm just going to get to it right now because the webinar is like in an hour and a half, and so I'll be grabbing some dinner before then. But I'm going to show you this. I haven't edited these yet, but I want you to take a look at this. So I'm going to start this from the beginning, and you guys feel free to write some questions in here while you're watching this. But this is really cool. So this is an interview I did this morning, just a piece of it. But you're going to watch Jerry here, who now has made probably upwards of $2.5 million. But he made a solid, in my opinion, you decide for yourself. He's got a 24,000 square foot commercial rental, and this isn't far from an international airport. It's across the street from a Burlington coat factory. I mean, this thing's is an absolute jewel, and he bought it for less than $1 million. This thing is going to take care of him and his family, and this is generational wealth. So this is a beautiful thing. So enjoy. You're gonna watch this, and we're gonna jump to Shane right after that, who in 7-8 months of being in the mentorship, he's already flipped 2 deals, made about 118, and he's got another one he's got under contract. He's actually closed it. He expected. I'll just let him tell you. So hang out. Here we go. So anyways, Jerry here has been just a fantastic student in the mentorship. And so Jerry, why don't you just quickly tell us about, prior to hitting this grand slam, making a couple $1 million, tell us just quickly about how many deals you did prior to this, and just a little bit about that.
Right. Well, I read your book. That led me to your mentorship. So having the mentorship has been so valuable, because when you do find a deal, you have such a network of guys who's in the mentorship. And you could just throw that deal out there and absolutely everybody can dissect it and just give you insight. And on top of that, having access to Tom, and which has been extremely valuable to walk me through not only residential deals, but also this commercial deal back here. The mentorship has been so valuable. So building the building blocks on top of the book, reading the book, and then getting that mentorship has just been absolutely phenomenal in my success.
So since being in the mentorship, it's fair to say you've done several six-figure flips.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I've done very well with flips, because again, the end result, and sometimes people give you grief over doing flips and just say, well, you should just go straight in. But to me, it's been a great step-by-step process, using that revenue, flipping that revenue forward, rolling it forward in to get into bigger and bigger deals. And that's how come we're winding up with this commercial and then going from this deal to the next stage, because of our revenue we were creating.
So I'm going to stop there just for a second. So I want you to understand, Jerry here, that building behind him is the one he just bought. That is 24,000 square feet of commercial property. And he got it for $975. It came out to be $42 a foot. You couldn't build that building for less than 100. With the land, you couldn't build that building for less than $200 a square foot. And that baby is all his. And in fact, his son was so excited. His son made a TikTok video because his dad, he understands that, hey, this is generational wealth, and he's just happy for the family. Everybody is doing well now, and so Jake wrote. Jake, we'll get into that tonight, but yeah, please get into it, and I'll see you in there. And let's continue here with this. Those of you who just got in here, this is an interview I conducted this morning with 2 students. This one, Jerry here, has probably made about $2.5 million. Maybe 2.6. I don't. At least that. Maybe more. We'll see. But let's keep watching.
Through flips. So.
Yeah. So by creating, maybe you've done a dozen flips, but by making, whatever, 50 to 100 grand per smaller deal, houses and that sort of thing. Ultimately, it's always been the goal is to get everybody to own commercial and industrial properties and some offices in the end. And it's fair to say you've just basically taken all these cash, whatever profits, and you've rolled them into what is now a fantastic building that is something you can keep forever. And, it'll take care of you, right?
Absolutely, 100%. Yeah, we've done since getting in contact with you and your mentorship. I've done probably 10 to 12 flips, and just rolled those revenues ahead. We're doing 4 of them as we speak, and again, those revenues will be rolled right into another commercial deal. I'm bird dogging. I'm looking at very aggressively right now for another deal like this one, so we can roll those revenues ahead. Yeah.
So this property behind you, this is a property that was built, was it in the late 80s or was it like in 2000? Late 80s. It's a beautiful building. And he not only has roughly a 14,000 square foot commercial building on a very major thoroughfare, and then beyond that, you can see the big yellow building. I think that's 4,000 or 5,000 square feet, right?
Yes, sir. This building here is 19,000 and something feet. Yes, and then that yellow building is 4,000 feet. That's a fireworks triple net lease on that. Tenant's been there since 2012, so it's right at 24,000 feet with both of these buildings. Yes, sir.
Right. And you paid less than $1 million for both of those properties together.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. 975 exactly.
You couldn't replace that building for $3 million. You've made over $2 million on this. And what's funny is this property is this is typical of the kind of thing that I look for. I mean, I was so excited when Jerry. Hey, Jerry, and by the way, people need to know, have you ever talked to a salesman when you've called me, my company?
No. That's the whole thing. We probably had 12 to 15, conversations about this deal right here, at least at minimum.
And probably 40 texts, or maybe 50 texts. Yeah, yeah.
Yes.
So then, yeah, so people need to know I am accessible. Nobody sells my course but me. I have my mentorship. I am the only one that mentors. Now we have a fantastic classroom and we have success stories like Jerry, within the group, within the mentorship. And I vet everyone. There is no talking to a salesman. I don't have any salesmen that work for me. And when you reached out to me, I've been very responsive. Was that fair to say?
Oh, absolutely, and I'd be absolutely honest and open about it. I would have never been able to close this deal without your insight. There's just no way. The insight you gave me, even with the financing and all these different aspects dealing with different things, it's invaluable. I would have never closed this deal and would have
Would
lost
you
this deal. I had other. Go ahead.
Oh, so I know. Would you attribute even finding and purchasing the deal to the mentorship?
Oh, 100%, 100%. Because again, it goes back to that barbell and family members and your to and from workspace and all that. I incorporate all that together.
Shane, congratulations. So, anyways, let me just get back in here. So this next gentleman, you can see this is Shane. Shane is great, just a real asset to the class. And anyways, and you're just seeing a couple snippets of the interviews that I took this morning. And but I'm telling you, you'd be lucky to be in the presence of these guys. It's so great. Hey, Chris just wrote, love this deal. Chris also just made $100,000 this month, or at least we figure. I don't want to exaggerate. 90 to 100. It may be closer to 100, Chris. I think things are looking pretty good in that particular area. Not a lot available. We actually, Chris and I actually hunt in the same area now. But anyways, so this next gentleman you're going to see here is Shane. He's been in the mentorship for about 8.5, 9 months. And by the way, I've got the webinars tonight at 7 p.m. That's like in an hour and 30 minutes. Don't sit on the fence any longer or at least take time to come in and take a look at the webinar. If you can't afford it, I certainly understand, that something, you got to put things off. You got to eat first. You got to get your income stabilized. But some of you out there certainly can't afford it. I'm always a little bewildered when I see some people that really, really want to do something, but they're just kind of struck with kind of like paralysis by analysis. And I'm not saying you shouldn't analyze, but when you come way out of my webinar, you're talking to somebody fully credible. Yeah, thanks. Actually, Chris is in the mentorship, and he just wrote, "Tom is the real deal. Just made 100K. Yep. Thanks, Chris. I appreciate it. Chris actually has made over 230,000 in the last year, and he's quit his job and become a full-time investor. And I tell you, it couldn't happen to a nicer guy. Really, really a wonderful person, wonderful family. His family looks like a Rockwell painting, just like Jerry's and Shane's. It's just a beautiful thing. So, all right. So I'm gonna pull my head out of the way here and let you guys hear. This is very brief with Shane, but just a really good guy, and it's a great story. So, hey, what would you say to somebody thinking about getting into the mentorship?
I think it's the best thing you can possibly do. I mean, it's changed my whole life. The resources available are astounding. I'm a new guy. I just try to keep it real simple and just go by what you've told me at the beginning, So I just follow the fundamentals, the techniques that you've taught me in the mentorship, and just tried to apply them to, my situation, everyday life.
And now you've already made over 100 grand between two deals, and you've got another one you've already got under contract, or you purchased that you feel you might make another 100,000 on, correct?
Yes, I'm close on it now. I'm painting now, and don't have probably another 3 weeks, and it'll be listed, and should make at least 100.
So anyways, I just wanted to share those copies. I'll have those edited and out by next week on YouTube. But I just thought that it's just so exciting to see, and I'm excited to share with you, to be quite honest. But anyways, if you're interested in being mentored, and listen, it's a teachable skill for sure, and I have the millionaires to prove it. You just saw one of them right there, but also you'll see in tonight's webinar, you'll see like Rich here. Rich here had picked up a couple of properties, made like 100 or so on the first one, about 100 and a half on the second one, And then damn near 800,000 on the third one, correct? So yeah, he, like I said, he's realized over $1 million cash, and now he's got commercial and industrial assets that are paying him about 150,000 a year, according to him. And it's a life changer, kind of like Shane said. Ron here, he's made over $3 million. He's got $4 million in assets and less than $1 million in debt now. Garrett also done well. Chris also is watching right now. Liam, another $500,000 plus, $1 million plus here with Steve, and it goes on and on. But anyways, we can talk about other real estate here for a minute, and then I'll be getting ready to see people. But go to FlipAnythingUSA.com/webinar and just fill out the tiny form, and you'll get a link. Just get it done right now, and if you get it done before 6:45, that's when the last email goes out that will send you the links. And just get in early. I can even talk to you. I'll start a little bit early tonight, just so we can get to know each other. Those of you that have a problem to share, and that could be you, Jake. If you got some questions, we can talk about that too. But there's just absolutely nothing like real estate to make you rich. And in fact, if anybody's got any other questions, you can. And I can bounce around here and show you different properties. I'll show you just something out. This is out in Pear Blossom, California. At Pear Blossom, California, I actually made one of my best deals at the time when I was a kid, or very young. I bought a property for $140,000, sold it for $520,000, and so basically made $380,000, less some real estate fees, and it was on a piece of land out here. In fact, I think this is actually the land right here now. I remember there was a monument at the top. This kind of looks like it. You can't really tell the topography here, but listen, there's a fortune to be made in land. So I think this in the 1980s. In fact, this last deal I closed, I sold this deal in 1989. I bought it in 1989 and sold it within a month or two in 1989. It actually technically closed in December of 1990, but when it closed at closing, I now went from the $35,000 that I had spent, came back to me, and after paying the agents and everything else, I know I had over $90,000 in my pocket. Plus, I now had a note for $295,000 at 10% that was paying me $2,450 a month, and it was a major accomplishment having that kind of income. And believe me, $2,450 a month, back in 1990 was considerable compared to what it is today. Let's see what this says right here. It was 70 acres. Let's see what we got here. If this is it, I think it's it. Oh yeah, I'm way off. No, my property is way bigger than this. Oh yeah, no wonder. Now I can see it. I think maybe I was thinking about this property right here. That ain't it because that's solar panels. But it was closer to that size. In fact, yeah, I think I see it. But anyways, yeah, land is, there's just nothing like it. Some people are afraid of land. Anyways, it was closer to that kind of shape. It probably wasn't quite that big, but it was down to 70 acres. I could find it later. But anyways, that's it. So anybody got any questions? Anybody got any any questions about the mentorship? Any questions about the webinar? I'd be happy to answer them. Any questions about anything real estate? I'd be happy to talk to you about. Just trying to think about what. I'll tell you something interesting today. I just got notified. The counties all across the country, not all of them, but some of them have become very, very aggressive, and they're actually upping the values of property unfairly, higher than they should be. And I've had to actually have I've had to take the counties to court, and so I've got one lawsuit that just settled, where I'm actually had to sue the county to get a reasonable price, valuation. And then I just now had, we went to binding arbitration, And, so basically I make my best case. I was making the best case that this property was worth $1,028,000. The county was challenging me, saying it was worth $1.9 million, which it's not. And anyhow, we both made our case before the arbitrator, and I just got the decision mailed to me today, and I got a $1.25 million. So $1,250,000 valuation. But that's me challenging the county that was trying to stick me with $1,950,000. So it's basically that's $700,000 savings. That's a considerable amount of tax to make to have saved, and I've already paid it. They're going to have to refund me for what they charged me because it was for last year, and I'm taking them to court for this year too. But now they'll back off, they'll settle, and they'll get to a closer number. So yeah, these are a lot of things you'll learn about too. Is how to deal with. I've had property taken from me by eminent domain. Like I said, I've been in numerous battles with the city over valuations or in the county. I've rezoned property, I've developed property, build property. I'm a builder. There's so many things that you'll get out of the course besides just absolutely making fantastic deals. And like I say, just what you see behind me here, I've done land, houses, industrial, commercial, and this goes back, and I'm going to get into this in the mentorship, but this goes back to back into the 80s. I'm trying to actually find here. Where is it? Oh yeah, here it is. Lancaster. This is where I made my first million, is in Lancaster, California. And this place here, it used to be kind of a nice community. Now it's a complete, it's a dump in a big way. I hate to say it, but it's neck and neck with Compton in crime and filth. It's really interesting how things have changed in a lot of places. Very important. You don't become apathetic. You got to be proactive in your community. City councils can ruin a city if you let them. You got to push it. Anyways, so all things real estate tonight. Go to the webinar tonight, and I look forward to seeing you guys then. And thanks for hanging out. Bye. You want to learn how to make millions of dollars in real estate? I've made tens of millions over my lifetime, and I'm showing people how to do it. Get in my free webinar. I have it every Thursday, 7 p.m. Central. Go to the link below, FlipAnythingUSA.com/webinar. Sign up for it. You can talk to me face-to-face if you want. Don't waste any time. Hit that subscribe button. Hit that like button. You don't want to miss my channel. I've been doing it for years.